Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Paul, I'm with the Dicey Review, and tonight we're going to be learning how to play the 2 to 4 player game Tr-Ominos from Pressman. Tr-Ominos comes with all of the components that you see here, including 56 Tr-Omino tiles and 4 trays for players to hold their game pieces. To begin setup, shuffle all of the tiles face down. Then designate one player as the scorekeeper. This player will write down the names of each player on a piece of paper, and as each play is made, the scorekeeper is going to add and subtract points in the proper column for each player. Next, give each player a Tr-Omino tray. Then, each player will draw a different number of Tr-Ominos based on the player count. In a 2-player example like we have here, each player will draw 9 tiles from the middle of the table. After players are done drawing Tr-Omino tiles, they can place them on their trays like this. In a normal game, players would keep their tiles hidden from one another. But for the purposes of this explanation, we're going to keep both trays visible so that you can see all of the options. The leftover tiles in the middle are known as the well. These can be placed aside, but will be used during gameplay, so make sure they're within reach of all players. The goal of Tr-Ominos is to score 400 points, but to score 400 points, it might take a few rounds. In each round, players will take turns one after the other in clockwise order until one player wins the round. At the beginning of each round, the player that has the Tr-Omino with 3 of the same highest numbers will start the round by placing that Tr-Omino face up on the table. So in our example, this player has the Tr-Omino with 3 4s, and this player has the Tr-Omino with 3 3s. In this example, this player would get to lead the round. So this player could take this tile and place it in the middle of the table to start the play area. When a player places a tile to start off, they gain the sum of all of the numbers on the tile plus a 10-point bonus. So in this example, this player would gain 4 plus 4 plus 4 for 12, and then a 10-point bonus for a total of 22 points. The scorekeeper would immediately notate this by writing down 22 under the player's name. If the only available tile with 3 of the same number is the 0, the player who places this tile gains a 30-point bonus for playing the tile, and then the normal 10-point bonus for a total of 40 points. And it's important to note that if a player has both the highest numbered single tile and the 0 tile, they can choose which one to lead with. If a player does choose to lead with the 0 tile instead of their higher valued tile, after placing this tile they have to show all the other players the higher valued tile. And finally, if no player has any tile with 3 of the same number, the player with the highest total on one particular tile gets to lead with that tile. So in this instance, this player has this tile and this tile worth 11 total points. So they could lead either one of these tiles. If they lead with this tile, they would score the total value of the tile in points, but they wouldn't gain any bonus. So in this example, after leading this tile, this player would gain 11 points. After the round is started off, each player will then take one turn in clockwise order. On a player's turn, they try and match any 2 numbers on one of the Tr-Ominos on the table. So in this example, this player could match this tile to this tile. They can do this because the 3 and the 5 line up. When a player is able to match up the tile in this way, they score the sum of all the numbers as points. So for instance, this tile has a 3, 5, and a 1 for a total of 9. This player would score 9 points for matching this tile. The scorekeeper would notate this by writing it down under the correct column. If on a player's turn they're unable to make a match with any of the Tr-Ominos in the play area, then they have to draw from the well to try and find a tile that matches. For each tile that they draw, the scorekeeper would deduct 5 points. Once the players find a tile that matches, they can place it like normal. So in this example, this player drew 2 tiles from the well for a total of 10 negative points, and then they scored a tile with a total of 11, so then they would gain 11 points after that. If a player can't match a Tr-Omino in their hand and there are no tiles in the well, 10 points are deducted from the player's score and then play would continue. The first player to play all of their Tr-Ominos will win the round. This player will receive a 25-point bonus, plus the total of all of the tiles that are left in the other player's hands. The other players don't have to deduct this total from their score, however. If no one is able to play and all players pass, the game is blocked and the player that has the least amount of Tr-Ominos will win the round. All of the other players' points are added to this player's total just like normal, but there's no 25-point bonus in this case. And the player who wins the round would have to deduct their point total from their score for the round. To start a new round, players will follow the same process as during game setup. They'll mix all of the tiles together and then draw an appropriate number of tiles for each player based on the player count. So in our example, once again, players would draw 9 tiles. The first player to reach 400 points is the winner of the game. If a player passes 400 points in the middle of the round, then players will finish the round. If multiple players pass 400 points during the middle of the round, the winner of that round will be the winner of the game. There are some situations where players are able to score bonus points depending on how they place their tiles. If a player matches all 3 sides of a Tr-Omino and closes a hexagon, the player will score the sum of the tile just like normal, and then they'll add a 50-point bonus. So in this instance, this player would score 57 points for placing this tile in this exact way. Players can also form what's called a bridge. To do this, a player has to match one Tr-Omino to the tip of another Tr-Omino. It's important to note that all numbers have to match. The 2 matches here, the 0 matches here, and the 2 zeros match on the tip of the bridge as well. If a player completes a bridge, they would score the sum of the tile just like normal, and then they would gain a 40-point bonus. A player will also gain a 40-point bonus for adding to the bridge. So in this example, after the bridge was formed, if a player placed a tile in this way, adding to the bridge, they would also gain a 40-point bonus. Alright, that was our video. Thanks so much for watching. We hope that it was helpful and we hope that it was informative. If you still have any questions about how to play the game, please comment below or email us directly at thedicey@gmail.com. And don't forget to connect with us on social media or by visiting our Board Game Geek Guild. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.